Hey guys, I hope I don't bore you too much here today. This is going to be a little bit of a housekeeping day. I want to go through the chromatic scale and just get it into your inventory. You should be working on your scales all the time. Depending on your level of expertise or your level of commitment, you don't have to do them every single day, but several days a week you should spend 10 to 20 minutes on your scales. They're not only good for building up your facility and your dexterity on the guitar, getting your hands coordinated and everything like that, but they're also good in your unconscious mind in mapping the guitar and learning to listen for the different sounds and how to put them together in a manner that's sort of beyond your conscious level. When you need to hear a major third, for instance, you may hear that in your mind and your body may duplicate that without you actually having first to think about how to do it. That's part of what your scales and your repertoire will do for you. The incentive I have first for introducing the chromatic scale to people is when they are limited to 1 or 2 fingers and I'm trying to get them to use the pinky. There are a lot of things I'll do to get people using the pinky, even if it's playing Hot Cross Buns or some other easy song from their early days, just with the pinky note. If their instinct and their default is only to play with the first finger, we'll go through each finger, play it with the second, play it with the third. Just make that a little bit of a challenge for people until all the fingers are used. Hopefully you haven't gotten hung up on one finger playing, but if you do, one of the things that can break that and to get some facility into that pinky is the chromatic scale. At first, what I give people is not really a scale so much as an exercise. I just introduce the idea of chromatics as playing fret by fret. So this isn't a tab, but it looks just like one. That's your guitar in strings, and I'm saying to play open, then first finger, second finger, third finger, and fourth finger. They coincide with the frets, first, second, third, and fourth, but those are indicating the fingers I want. So we play that. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next string, same thing. Open 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And back down. I should be watching, getting close to my frets, getting good technique. Don't just go through your scales to get them done. Use them to practice your techniques. Get your pick in the right place and your fingers in the right place. While I'm doing this, obviously, I'm not paying that attention. What I was thinking of is the fact that this is not a particular scale, but rather an exercise. If the student hears this, and you may already have heard it, I've built in an error. This 4th fret B note and the open B note on the next string are the same note. You don't have to play them both. You don't want to play the same note twice on 2 different strings in this exercise. But I give it to people this way in this exercise so they don't have to be thinking about it at first. The idea is just to get those fingers going. So again, we would have each fret played on each string. The repeated note there. And back down. If they notice and don't like it, I would remove that 4th fret on the 3rd string, or as soon as they're good at it, I would remove it. So we don't want this note here. Either that or we don't want the open 2nd string. But right now it's easier to think of each string being open and allowing that to occur. So this then gives you all of the chromatic notes in order. You can also then memorize them. As you'll recall from long ago, I had chuckled about charts that show you every single fret name. In terms of learning your guitar neck, they're not useful at all, but they could be a resource if you're looking for, well, what is this 8th fret? And you look at your chart and you see that it's a B flat or A sharp. But what we do know is we have E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And now we've put in the chromatic, so we have E, F, and then F sharp to G. Then G sharp, then our open A sharp, then the B and C that we already knew, C sharp, then the open D. Before the E is D sharp, E, F is always beside E, F sharp, open G, G sharp, A sharp, we've got the B here, we've decided not to play it, we'll do the B on the next string, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F sharp, G, G sharp, and we could even go to the A. Maybe I should have in my exercises so far. So this actually will help you map some ideas on your guitar. For instance, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E. They're 1 fret apart, so you'll see the D sharp at the 4th fret being 1 fret away from the open E. This time I ran up to the A, you might as well. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. This way we can talk about the notes on the descent. In a chromatic scale, when you're coming down, rather than naming that note for the sharp version of the lower note, you name it for the flat version of the higher. So you've got A descending to A flat, to G flat, which is F sharp, but we would call it G flat on the descent, F, open E. Now the D sharp is E flat. E flat can be a hard note to find. When you know that notes are flat by going down a fret, and you've already gotten to the end and you're already on E, how do you get flat of that? Well, you find the note on the next string that's 1 fret lower than the E you're playing. There's E at the 5th fret, so E flat is 4th. Better yet, just know that it's a harmonic equivalent of the D sharp. So D sharp is E flat. If I'm looking for E to E flat, I go E to D sharp and it's the same thing. But do name it this time for E flat. Then D, D flat instead of C sharp, C and B, B flat instead of A sharp, A flat, G, G flat. 99% of the time we'll call it F sharp, but in this exercise it's G flat. F, E, E flat, D, D flat, C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, and E. So there you see what your enharmonic equivalents are. We had E, F, F sharp, which is also G flat, G, G sharp, which is also A flat, A sharp, also B flat, and so on. Here first then is your natural note scale. E, F right beside E, 1 fret difference, 2 frets away is G, A, 2 frets to B, C is a half step away. So E's and F's, B's and C's are always a half step apart. So you already know that. And then when we went chromatically, which means to play fret by fret, we called it F sharp, G sharp. We have an A at the 5th fret, but we're using open A sharp, B, C, C sharp. D is at the 5th fret, but we have the open D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G sharp, A and A sharp, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and A. I can put that 4 there, where I slide the 4 up to do that. So when ascending, we call the note sharp. That works because when we write our notes in standard notation, we would have the F note, and then the F with a sharp, and then the G note. What we wouldn't want in notation would be an F note, then a G flat note, and then have to natural it back to G. That's a waste of signs, and it's a little counterintuitive for the way we're going to think of our notes. So here I've talked about going up, we're ascending, and we're calling the notes sharps. On the way back down, though, we call them flat. So G sharp is the equivalent of A flat. G sharp and A flat are enharmonic equivalents. They sound alike. F sharp is G flat. So F sharps and G flats are the same. It's great to know that E flats and D sharps are the same, because if you're looking for an E flat and you don't know how to get lower than that open string, you go to the equivalent, the D sharp on the other string. So D sharps and E flats are the same. C sharps and D flats. As we descend, we call it D flat rather than C sharp. That helps us again with the A sharp being the same as the B flat. We can't get lower than an open string on that string, so we have to find the equivalent. A sharp and B flat are the same. And now I'm into the next octave. The G sharp is an A flat. So you can use this exercise to name the notes and learn what they are on the guitar. This is what Hal Leonard is teaching right now in book 3, right after Tramp, Tramp, Tramp. I don't find the page particularly useful, but it is a good chance for us to get through, talk about the chromatics, and get that pinky going. One last thing I would do with this, after you've learned what your enharmonic equivalents are and how to map them in the open position, is I'd learn to play the scale physically in a closed position, so we're not using the open strings. The other thing you know about your scale diagrams is they're usually drawn just with dots. They're showing you not the order of the notes, but the dots that you would have available in that scale. I've left this open-ended on either side because this is universal and can go anywhere. A nice standard place to play is always at the 5th fret A. So here you see we have 5 notes. But now that we're not using an open string, we need to use our fingers for all 5. What we do ascending then is we use fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 again. In the old days, I would plant each of those fingers and shift the pinky with a stretch. Now I roll along more often than not. So I go first finger, I shift just a little into the second, into the third, into the fourth, and move the fourth. My hand stays in a relaxed cup now. You can work on both. You can work on your stretches, but look what it does to my wrist right away. Whereas if I move the hand, I get to play in a more relaxed manner with a straight wrist throughout. Work on both, but don't strain yourself. Don't spend so much time in this position that you heat up your wrist or get any pain in there. That's what I did. I got tendonitis in that wrist, and it's actually a permanent condition for me. I overplayed like that for hours and hours a day. I was also doing some construction activities that impacted that wrist, and if I'm not careful, it flares up all the time still. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 on the way up. I could learn the note names: A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F sharp, etc. But the idea is the physicality of filling in every single fret in that range. On the 3rd string, I will use 2 pinkies. That brings my pointer up 1 fret because I only get 4 notes on the other string. In this scale, because it was easier to use the open string, I only played 3 notes on the 3rd string. I could do that here as well. When we get to that 3rd string, we could play our 4 notes because we don't have the open. This would be the equivalent of open 1, 2, and 3. I don't do the shift, and I land on the 5th fret of the next string. That's one way to do it. The more usual way is to do this pattern again. Now you're in position for the 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1 fret higher, and then we shift back and do the next string. When we're there and we're coming down, just like we would have called our notes flat, we'll actually use the strength of the pointer finger descending. So we go 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, no shift, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. And that's what I've indicated here. When we're coming back down from the high note, 4, 3, 2, and your pointer plays 2 different notes. Going up from the bottom, it's your pinky that plays 2 different notes. You could learn all the notes on your guitar this way, wherever you happen to start. C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, flats. E, E flat, D, D flat, C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, E flat, D, D flat, C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, E flat, D, D flat, C. Maybe a good exercise every now and then, but that's not the point. It does help you so you can see where all your notes are. Place them in the dots and do them chromatically, just going up the alphabet, and you'll find them all. But really, it's just a physical exercise. And I guess I'll leave it at that. Once you've got a handle on that, we move on to the entertainer in our Hal Leonard book. I could spend several days on that. I want to teach it the way I would in normal face-to-face lessons, which would be 1 section at a time. And then I also have a fingerstyle version of it that we might run into as well. That'll do it for now, guys. Have a good one. Bye.